Hello, everyone, and welcome back to English Podcast for Life. I'm Emma, and I'm so happy you're joining us today. Whether you're listening while walking, commuting, cooking, or maybe even studying, thank you for making us part of your day.
And I'm James. It's great to be here with you. We always say this, but it's true. Every time we record, we imagine people from all over the world tuning in. Learners in Asia, Africa, Europe, the Americas, people in big cities, small towns, or maybe sitting quietly at home. And that's a really special feeling.
Yes, it really is. And today we're going to talk about something that every single English learner faces: how to stay motivated. You know, that feeling of excitement when you start learning English. It's strong at the beginning, but then reality hits. Life gets busy, progress feels slow, and motivation starts to drop.
Exactly. I think every learner has asked themselves at some point, how can I keep going? How can I stay motivated when English feels so hard? And Emma, I'll be honest, even though we're teachers and podcasters, I've also been in that position myself when learning other languages.
Oh, same here. I studied Spanish for years, and let me tell you, I lost motivation more than once. But the good news is there are strategies. There are mindsets, there are little tricks and bigger lifestyle choices that can help you keep the motivation alive.
And that's what this episode is all about. We're not giving you grammar lessons today. We're not doing vocabulary practice. Instead, we're going to sit down with you like two friends and talk about the journey of motivation. We'll share insights, real struggles, and practical advice.
Yes, so if you've been feeling stuck, or if you've been wondering how to keep your energy high in learning English, stay with us. By the end of this episode, I think you'll not only have some new ideas, but also feel more inspired to continue your learning.
Okay, let's start. First, we'll talk about what motivation really means and why it matters so much in language learning.
So James, let's start with a simple question. What is motivation? Because people talk about it all the time, but sometimes it feels like a mysterious thing.
Good question. Motivation, in simple terms, is the reason why we do something. It's the energy that pushes us to take action. In language learning, motivation is what makes you open your English book, or press play on a podcast, or decide to talk to someone in English, even when it feels uncomfortable.
Exactly. And there are two main kinds of motivation: intrinsic and extrinsic. Intrinsic motivation comes from inside. You want to learn English because you enjoy it, because you love languages, or because you feel proud when you improve.
And extrinsic motivation comes from outside. You need English for your job, for school, for travel, or because your teacher or parents expect you to learn.
Both kinds are important, but the truth is, intrinsic motivation, the one that comes from you, is often more powerful in the long run, because if you enjoy the process, you're more likely to keep going even when things get tough.
That's so true. But here's the problem. Motivation is not constant. It goes up and down. You might start with a lot of energy, but then you hit what's called the plateau. Do you know what I mean, Emma?
Oh yes, the famous plateau. Listeners, a plateau is when you've been learning for a while and suddenly you feel like you're not improving anymore. At the beginning, your progress is fast. You learn new words every day, you understand more, you can say more. But later, improvement becomes slower and it feels like nothing is changing.
Exactly. And when learners reach that stage, motivation often drops. They think, why am I working so hard if I'm not getting better?
And that's when people give up, which is such a pity, because the truth is, they are improving, just not as dramatically as before. It's like growing taller. You don't notice it day by day, but after some months or years, you suddenly realize how much you've grown.
That's a great metaphor. And another common challenge is comparing yourself to others. Maybe your friend speaks faster, or someone online seems perfect, and then you think, I'll never be that good.
Yes, and comparison can kill motivation. But here's a reminder. Your journey is unique. Everyone learns at a different pace with different strengths. You're not competing, you're learning for yourself.
So true. Let me ask you, Emma, when you were learning Spanish, did you ever lose motivation?
Oh, many times. I remember once I went to Spain for a trip. I thought my Spanish was good, but then I tried to talk to locals and I couldn't understand half of what they were saying. Their speed, their accent, the slang, it was so difficult. I felt embarrassed. I thought, what's the point? I've studied for years and still can't follow a simple conversation.
I know that feeling. When I was learning French, I had a similar experience. I had studied grammar and vocabulary in class, but then I went to Paris, and when people spoke to me, it sounded like one long, fast word. I felt completely lost. For a week, I was really discouraged.
Yes, and that's exactly the danger. Those moments can make you quit. But if you understand that motivation has ups and downs, and if you prepare yourself mentally for those moments, then you can survive them.
Right. It's like waves in the ocean. Motivation rises, motivation falls. That's normal. The important thing is to keep swimming, even when the water is calm, not just when the waves are exciting.
Beautiful image, James. And this brings us to a key point. Motivation is important, but it's not enough on its own. We can't rely only on feelings. We need habits, routines, and strategies that keep us going when motivation is low.
Yes, and we'll get to that in the next part. But before we move on, let's quickly summarize. Motivation is the reason we do something. It can come from inside or outside. It goes up and down naturally. And the main challenges are the plateau, comparison with others, and discouragement from real-life struggles.
And understanding these challenges is the first step to staying motivated, because if you know what's coming, you won't be surprised when it happens.
Exactly.
So, James, we said that motivation goes up and down like waves in the ocean. But if motivation is not constant, what can learners do when the wave goes down?
That's the million-dollar question. And my answer is habits. Good, solid, simple habits. Because habits don't depend on motivation. You don't need to feel excited every day to brush your teeth, right?
Exactly. You just do it because it's part of your routine. And language learning should be the same. If you wait for motivation every time, you'll never be consistent. But if you build habits, you can keep learning even when you don't feel like it.
Right. And the science of habits shows us that small, repeated actions are more powerful than big, dramatic actions done rarely. For example, listening to English for 10 minutes every day is better than studying for 5 hours once a month.
Yes, and I think this is good news for learners because sometimes people believe they need huge amounts of time, but honestly, short and regular practice works better.
Let's make it practical. Emma, if you were advising a beginner learner, what kind of daily habits would you recommend?
Good question. I'd say start with something you can connect to your daily life. For example, choose one English podcast and listen to it while commuting or while washing dishes. You don't need to understand everything. Just let the sound of English become part of your routine.
I love that, because when English becomes part of your environment, it feels natural. And after a few weeks, you don't even need to think about it. You just press play.
Exactly. Another small habit, write 3 sentences in English every night. It could be about your day, your feelings, or your plans. 3 sentences, that's all. But if you do it every day, after a year, you'll have written over 1,000 sentences. That's progress.
That's such a great example. And the key is keep it small. Too many learners start with huge goals like, I'll study for 2 hours every day. And then, of course, life gets busy and they fail. Then they feel guilty and motivation disappears.
Yes, but if the habit is small and realistic, you can actually succeed. And success builds confidence, and confidence keeps you motivated.
Here's something I always tell my students. Focus on consistency, not intensity. Imagine if you exercised at the gym only once a month, but for 5 hours. That wouldn't make you fit. But if you exercise 20 minutes every day, you'll become healthier. Learning English works the same way.
That's a brilliant comparison. And let's be honest, building habits isn't always easy, especially at the beginning. So, one trick I use is something called habit stacking. Have you heard of it, James?
Yes, I love that method. But go ahead and explain it for our listeners.
Sure. Habit stacking means connecting a new habit to something you already do. For example, if you drink coffee every morning, you could decide, while I drink my coffee, I'll read one English article. Because you already drink coffee every day, the new habit becomes easier to remember.
That's excellent. Another example, every night before bed, you brush your teeth. So maybe after brushing your teeth, you open a vocabulary app and review 5 words. It takes less than 2 minutes, but if you do it daily, it really adds up.
Exactly. And it feels less like studying and more like part of your daily rhythm.
Now, I want to talk about another aspect, the idea of minimum and maximum. This is something I use with learners who feel overwhelmed. Basically, you create 2 levels, your minimum habit and your maximum habit.
Oh, interesting. Tell us more.
Okay, your minimum habit is the absolute smallest thing you promise to do, even on your busiest or laziest day. Maybe it's listening to English for 5 minutes, or reading 1 paragraph, or writing 1 sentence. Very small.
So even if you have a bad day, you can still succeed.
Exactly. Then your maximum habit is what you do when you have energy and time. Maybe 30 minutes of conversation, or watching a whole movie, or writing a page in your journal. But the point is, you always at least do the minimum.
That's brilliant, because it removes the guilt. You don't feel like you failed because you still did something.
Yes, and that something keeps the chain alive. Learners often think success is about doing a lot, but actually, success is about not stopping.
I love that. So listeners, maybe try this. Set a minimum habit, something really small, and then have a bigger version for when you feel strong. That way, you'll always move forward.
Exactly. Now, I want to mention environment, because habits are easier when your environment supports them. For example, if your phone has English podcasts downloaded, it's easier to listen. If your bookshelf has English books at eye level, you'll naturally pick them up.
Yes, make English visible. Put Post-it notes with English words on your mirror or fridge. Change your phone settings to English. Follow English-speaking accounts on social media. Surround yourself with little reminders.
It's like creating a world where English is natural, not something far away.
Exactly. And here's another tip. Track your habits. Humans love progress. If you can see that you studied 20 days in a row, you'll feel proud and want to continue.
Yes, a simple calendar with check marks can be powerful. Every day you practice, you mark an X. After a while, you'll have a chain of X's, and you won't want to break it.
I use that myself, and it really works. Because motivation might not always push you, but the habit of keeping the chain alive keeps you going.
So let's summarize. Motivation goes up and down, but habits keep you steady. Habits should be small, consistent, and connected to your daily life. Use techniques like habit stacking, minimum and maximum goals, environment design, and habit tracking.
And remember, the goal isn't perfection. It's consistency. A little bit every day beats a lot once in a while.
Exactly. Okay, so we've covered habits and routines, but now let's move into something just as important, mindset and positive thinking. Because even with habits, if your mindset is negative, it's easy to lose motivation.
Yes, absolutely.
So, Emma, I think we need to talk about something even more powerful, mindset.
Yes, absolutely. Because habits give us structure, but mindset gives us energy. The way we think about learning English can either motivate us or completely block us.
Exactly. And mindset is one of those invisible things. You don't always see it, but it shapes your whole experience. 2 learners might study the same material, but one feels excited and grows quickly, while the other feels discouraged and gives up. The difference? Mindset.
So let's start with the big one, fear of mistakes. James, I think this is the #1 motivation killer for English learners.
Oh, yes. Learners often think, if I make a mistake, people will laugh at me. I'll sound stupid. And that fear makes them stay silent. But here's the truth. Mistakes are necessary. They are not a problem. They are the path.
Yes, we don't learn without mistakes. Think about a child learning to walk. They fall hundreds of times. Nobody says, "Oh, you fell, you're terrible at walking." We clap, we encourage, we smile. That's how they learn.
Exactly. But as adults, we become perfectionists. We want to get everything right before we try. But if you wait for perfection, you'll never speak.
And listeners, here's a mindset shift for you. Every mistake is evidence that you're learning. It means you're using the language, testing it, experimenting. Mistakes are not failure, they are feedback.
That's such an important point. And honestly, most people don't care about your mistakes. Native speakers usually respect you for trying. They admire your effort. They don't expect perfection.
Yes, and let me share something personal. When I was speaking Spanish, I once said a completely wrong word in a restaurant. Instead of saying, "I'm excited," I accidentally said something that sounded, let's just say, very inappropriate. The waiter laughed, my friends laughed, I turned red. But guess what? I never forgot that word again.
Oh, I love that. I've had similar experiences in French. I once mixed up the word for preservative and the word for condom. Very embarrassing. But again, I never forgot after that.
And that's the thing. Embarrassment is temporary, but the learning is permanent. So don't let fear of mistakes stop you. Instead, celebrate them.
Exactly. Okay, let's move to another mindset issue, the plateau. We mentioned it earlier, but let's go deeper. Emma, how can learners stay positive when they feel stuck?
Good question. First, remember that the plateau is normal. It's not a sign you're failing, it's part of the process. Second, try to measure progress in different ways. Instead of asking, "Am I fluent yet?" ask smaller questions. Can I understand more than last month? Can I express myself a little faster? Can I read more easily?
Yes, focus on micro wins. For example, maybe last month you couldn't order food in English without looking nervous, but this month you can order smoothly. That's progress.
Exactly. Or maybe you used to need subtitles for English TV shows, but now you can watch without them, at least for a few minutes. That's another win.
I think learners often don't notice their own improvement because they focus only on what they can't do. But if you stop and look back, you'll see how far you've already come.
Yes, and gratitude is powerful here. If you say to yourself, "Wow, a year ago I couldn't even introduce myself in English, and now I can have a simple conversation," that gratitude gives you fresh motivation.
That's beautiful. And actually, this connects to another mindset, progress, not perfection. If you aim for perfection, you'll be disappointed. But if you aim for progress, you'll always succeed because every step forward is progress.
Yes, and progress can be very small. Learning one new word is progress. Having one more conversation than yesterday is progress. Every small step counts.
Now, let's talk about comparison. Because in the age of social media, it's so easy to compare yourself to others. You see someone on YouTube speaking perfect English, and you feel discouraged.
Yes, that's a big one. But here's the truth. Comparison is unfair because you don't see the whole story. Maybe that person studied English for 10 years. Maybe they live in an English-speaking country. Maybe they're just naturally good at languages. Your journey is different.
Exactly. It's like running a marathon. Some people are faster, some are slower. But the goal isn't to beat them, it's to finish your race.
Yes, and you'll feel happier if you compare yourself to your past self, not to other people. Ask, "Am I better than yesterday? Am I better than last year?" That's the only comparison that matters.
Beautifully said. Okay, one more mindset I want to talk about. Celebrating small wins. Many learners wait until they are fluent to feel proud, but that's too far away. You need to celebrate along the way.
Yes, I always tell my students, celebrate when you finish a chapter of a book. Celebrate when you have a short conversation in English. Celebrate when you learn 10 new words. These little celebrations create positive energy.
Exactly. And the celebration doesn't need to be big. Maybe it's just telling yourself, "Well done." Or maybe you treat yourself to a coffee. Or you share your achievement with a friend.
Yes, and the brain actually learns faster when it connects effort with positive feelings. So celebration isn't just fun, it's smart.
That's right. And finally, let's mention patience. Learning a language takes time, months, even years. If you expect quick results, you'll be disappointed. But if you accept the journey, you'll enjoy it more.
Yes, think of learning English like planting a tree. At first, you don't see much, just a small plant. But with water, sunlight, and time, it grows taller and stronger. You can't rush it, but if you keep caring for it, it will grow.
I love that metaphor. So to summarize, adopt a positive mindset. Don't fear mistakes, embrace them. Expect the plateau, but notice micro wins. Compare only to your past self, not to others. Celebrate small victories. And be patient with the journey.
Exactly. With the right mindset, you can turn frustration into energy and discouragement into motivation.
Beautiful. Okay, after a short break, we'll talk about making English fun, because motivation grows when learning feels enjoyable, not like a boring obligation.
Yes, we'll share ideas for bringing joy, humor, and creativity into your English learning. So stay with us. Okay, James. So far, we've talked about motivation, habits, and mindset. But now let's talk about something really important, fun. Because if learning English feels boring, painful, or like a heavy obligation, it's very hard to stay motivated.
Yes, fun is underrated. People sometimes think learning must be serious to be effective. But actually, the more you enjoy it, the more likely you are to continue. And the brain remembers better when it's engaged and happy.
Exactly. So one way to make learning enjoyable is to connect English with your personal interests. For example, if you love cooking, read recipes in English or watch cooking videos on YouTube. If you're into sports, follow English sports channels. If you like fashion, read fashion blogs in English.
That's such a good point. Learning doesn't mean you have to sit with a grammar book all the time. Language is everywhere. If you integrate English into the things you already love, then it feels natural.
Yes, and it doesn't even need to be directly about learning. For example, I had a student who loved video games. He started playing them in English. At first, it was hard, but then he picked up vocabulary, improved his listening, and even made friends online to chat with.
That's perfect. Because games, movies, music, all of these are windows into the language. And let's not forget humor. Comedy shows, funny YouTube clips, memes. When you laugh while learning, it's double a benefit. Entertainment plus education.
Yes, I remember when I was learning Spanish, I watched silly sitcoms. I laughed, I relaxed, and without noticing, I was picking up natural phrases and expressions.
And speaking of TV shows and movies, one strategy I recommend is watching something you already know in your language, but in English. For example, if you love Friends or Harry Potter, watch it again in English. Because you already know the story, you can focus on the language.
That's a great tip. And also, music. Singing along to English songs can be so much fun. You don't need to understand every word. Just enjoy the rhythm and lyrics. And believe me, after singing a song 20 times, some of those phrases will stick in your memory forever.
Yes, music is like magic for memory. And you can even use karaoke tracks. Sing your heart out, make mistakes, laugh. It's learning plus joy.
And let's not forget social fun. Learning English doesn't have to be lonely. You can join clubs, online communities, or language exchange groups. When you connect with people, you practice more naturally and enjoy the human connection.
Yes, conversation is one of the most enjoyable ways to learn. I had a student who joined an international book club online. They read books in English and then discussed them. Not only did her English improve, but she made friends from all over the world.
That's amazing. And friendships can be one of the strongest motivators because then English is not just a subject, it's a tool to connect with people you care about.
Exactly. And one last point, give yourself permission to be playful. Try silly accents, invent stories, make jokes in English. Don't treat the language like a serious exam subject. Treat it like a living thing you can play with.
Yes, because play creates freedom, and freedom keeps you motivated.
So, connect English with your personal interests, use fun media like shows, music, and games, learn with friends, and allow yourself to be playful. The more you enjoy the journey, the longer you'll stay motivated.
Exactly. Now, let's move to long-term strategies, because motivation is not just about today or tomorrow. It's about sustaining your energy for years.
So, Emma, how do learners keep the fire alive for years, not just weeks?
Great question. For me, it starts with clear goals. You need to know your why. Why are you learning English? Is it for work, travel, studies, relationships, or just personal satisfaction?
Yes, and the clearer the goal, the stronger the motivation. If your goal is vague, like, I want to be fluent, it's too abstract. But if your goal is specific, like, I want to pass the IELTS exam in 1 year, or I want to hold a 10-minute conversation with a native speaker, it gives you direction.
Exactly. And then break those big goals into smaller steps. For example, if your big goal is IELTS, then a smaller step could be learn 10 new academic words this week, or practice writing one essay this month.
Yes, because small goals are achievable, and each achievement boosts motivation. And don't forget to celebrate each step, as we said earlier.
Another long-term strategy is tracking progress. Keep a learning journal or record yourself speaking once a month. When you look back, you'll be amazed by how much you've improved.
I love that idea. Recording your voice is especially powerful because you can literally hear your growth over time.
Yes. And another key, refresh your methods. If you do the same activity every day for years, you'll get bored. So try new things. New apps, new teachers, new podcasts, new books. Variety keeps the brain interested.
Absolutely. It's like exercise. If you only do push-ups every day, you'll get bored. But if you mix in running, swimming, or dancing, it stays exciting.
Yes, and don't forget inspiration. Long-term motivation needs fuel. So watch success stories, follow people who learned English, read motivational quotes, remind yourself why English matters to you.
Yes, inspiration is like fuel for the car. Without it, the car stops.
Exactly. And finally, be kind to yourself. Some days you'll feel lazy. Some weeks you'll be busy. That's okay. Don't quit just because you missed a day. Remember, learning is a marathon, not a sprint.
Yes, one missed day doesn't erase all your progress. Just get back on track.
So, have clear goals, break them into steps, track your progress, refresh your methods, find inspiration, and practice self-kindness. These strategies will keep you motivated for years. Wherever you are in your English journey, we want to say, keep going, keep learning, keep believing in yourself. You are capable of more than you think.
Absolutely. And we're here with you every step of the way.
Thank you so much for listening to English Podcast for Life. If you enjoyed today's episode, share it with a friend or leave us a comment. And most importantly, stay motivated, stay curious, and stay connected to English.
We'll see you next time. Until then, happy learning.
Bye, everyone.